Hello, my name is Jacinta Moyer, and I created this presentation on professional reflection on disrupting thinking by Kylene Bears and Robert Proust. So first I want to talk about the essential question and how I use my big ideas to help me answer this question. How can I grow professionally? So, one way that I believe that I can grow professionally is by providing a format for my kids to teach them the power of reading, really getting them to realize how the power of reading can change their life. So, reading to reshape, reading to question themselves, and reading to connect to the text. Another way that I can grow professionally, that is also my big idea, is focus silent reading. I already provide silent reading for my kids and a time to do that, but I now want to provide focus silent reading. So I need to model focus silent reading so the students know what that looks like, have a focus of the day, and allow students a choice to choose what they are going to read. So the power of reading. So on page 70, states that we also need to think about what those words mean to us. So as we're reading, we're not just reading to figure out who the character is, what's the setting, what's going on. Yes, those words are important, but what does it mean to us? We need to teach how to read, to reshape themselves and ourselves. We need to model our thinking process and ask ourselves questions that relate to the book, head, and heart, also known as BHH. So a question that would relate to the head would be, what surprised you? What made you think or and took you back, in the story? What made you think, wow, that really happened? And made you think in your head, why did that happen? What's this about? A question that would refer to the book. What is this? What's going on in the story? Who are the characters? What's the setting? And for the heart, a question for the heart would be, what did I learn about me? What did this text help me learn about others? So this past week, we read the story, Somebody Loves You, Mr. Hatch. And it's a story about a guy who is very lonely. He gets a secret admirer. He gets a package and then a little card that says, somebody loves you from your secret admirer. This changes Mr. Hatch's whole perspective of the world. He's more upbeat, very friendly, inviting people over for picnics. So I'd ask the children the question, how does this make you feel? What did you learn from this? One girl raised her hand and said, well, it made me think that being kind makes others do kind things. And then so I had asked her, well, what do you think you could do that would relate to this book? And one thing she said is that I could give friends compliments to make them feel good. And I said, that's great, because then if you give them a compliment and you're doing something nice, then that might cause them to do something nice as well. So referring back to some of the texts, on page 56 in the book, Disrupting Thinking, I want to bring up this quote. So while the kids grow up as avid readers understand at least the potential pleasure of reading, too few seem to understand the power of reading to reshape themselves. So once again, we always tend to ask these kids these comprehension questions such as, who was the character? What happened in the story? What was the setting? But we're not allowing them to think about how the story is impacting their lives, asking the questions as, what did you learn from this? How did this make you feel? And realizing their internal feelings inside while reading the story. On page 59, I want to bring up this quote. And once you have found that reading can change you and can change how you see the world, can change how you view yourself, and then you are more likely to turn to reading again and again, anticipating the possibility that the book will give you some new idea, some new perspective, some new vision that may change who you are slightly or dramatically. We argue that the ultimate goal of reading is to become more than we are at the moment, to become better than we are now, to become what we did not even know we wanted to become. So, with that being said, the ultimate goal of reading is not to know who the characters are, what happened in the story. Yes, this is all important, but we want to read to really impact ourselves, to really impact our students, to have a change in their lives as they're reading the stories and they're coming to life and relating to themselves. So once again, in the book, Disrupting Thinking, I really liked this BHH reading poster. I am actually going to hang mine up next week in talking about more so of the focused silent reading. So I also really liked this quote in the book.